episode of Aftershocks on AftershocksPodcast.com. And joining us today on this episode is a veteran in the world of hard rock who's played with and written songs for, so many major artists and bands. I don't think we have enough time to mention them all on the show here. But just to name a few, I'll just mention Thin Lizzy and Alice Cooper for starters. And he, of course, was the co-founder of Southern rock heavyweights Brother Kane in the 90s. Let's welcome Mr. Damon Johnson to the podcast. Damon, thanks for coming on. How you doing, man?
Fellas. I'm doing all right, man. Good to see you. Thanks for having me on. It is a busy week in Damon Johnson world, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have something to do.
Oh, man, I'm sure it's freaking great for you, man. Well, speaking of that, you're right. You've got a really cool event coming up tomorrow night, right? Friday, September 25th at 8 p.m. Both yourself and Judas Priest guitarist Richie Faulkner. You guys are going to be doing a live stream Thin Lizzy tribute show, which we're all looking forward to watching. And, of course, you played and toured with Thin Lizzy and, of course, subsequently Black Star Writers for years. So what was the impetus for you putting together this live stream tribute, and how did you wind up getting Richie involved with it as well?
I've been working on these new songs, guys. I guess I started writing them back in November to make another record, and we got in the studio with my friend Nick Raskulinecz, who's a Grammy-winning legend. Surely you've heard his name through your years discussing bands. Sure. Nick is here in Nashville. We did 2 Black Star Writers records together. He produced my EP, and he mixed my solo record that I produced last year. So I played Nick the demos. He got really fired up, which was thrilling for me to hear because I have so much respect for him, and I love making records with Nick. So he cleared his calendar, made some room. We started working in February, making the new record. Of course, everything shut down in the middle of March. So it threw the calendar in a bit of a tailspin. We had no idea when we could get back to work. Thankfully, we were able to toward the end of June. And so the album itself is about 65% done. And I had these songs finished. I had 6 songs done. We had planned to put out the full-length record tomorrow, September 25th, and we just, hey, man, we have nothing to lose. Let's at least put a single out. So we chose the title track is a song called Battle Lessons. And to kind of celebrate the release, I wanted to come up with something that we could do, maybe special. My band and I have done a couple of live streams already this summer, so we were somewhat familiar with that experience. So you asked about Richie. I mean, our story is really cool because we've actually been friends for over 10 years now. And back, I guess, July or August of last year, he moved to Nashville himself. So he lives about 15 minutes down the road from me, and I knew we wanted to do a live stream. I knew we wanted to play the new song. So I had the idea about celebrating Thin Lizzy. There's a lot of talk about Thin Lizzy right now. There's a Phil Lynott movie coming out. The band itself celebrated its 50th anniversary. That's a big number.
Huge.
So, with me being, even a footnote in the Thin Lizzy story, joining that band in 2011 and playing some, a lot of dates with them, I reached out to Richie and I said, hey, man, what do you think? We'll play some Thin Lizzy. We'll play one of our new songs. We'll have a laugh. It'll be something to do. He was thrilled. He was thrilled because he's like everybody else, man. There's nothing going on.
Right.
You can't tour. And I know he had been writing some new songs, just prepping stuff, trying to stay busy and communicating with the Priest guys. But I was thrilled, man, that he was so excited about doing it. And I cannot overstate to you guys how incredible it sounds. Richie joining my band, The Get Ready, and the 4 of us playing these Thin Lizzy songs together. I'm telling you, it's insane. It sounded insane.
Awesome, man. Well, definitely looking forward to seeing it. And, you just mentioned a name, Nick Raskulinecz. Yes. I mean, that was my next question is, you've done a lot of work with him, and he's, one of the best rock producers, engineers in the biz. So tell us about how important it is for you to be able to work with someone like Nick, as much as you do, because, I mean, he is such a fantastic producer.
That's a great question. How important is it to me? It is literally vital, guys. It's vital in that Nick, having him as a member of my musical team, quite honestly, has changed my life.
Mm.
It's changed the sound of my music. It has changed kind of the direction that my thinking has taken when I'm writing, when I'm arranging songs. Uh, Now it has almost become kind of a goal for me to try and impress Nick when I play him a song. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I can tell by his body language in about 20 seconds. I'm not kidding. If he's listening to a new song, you better hold his attention, because if he gets bored really fast, which really is kind of a reflection of what the listener is going to do anyway.
Sure.
So,
Good
you
point.
know, I played him like 5 new songs, and easily three of them, maybe four. He was fired up. So, he's really. I kind of give him more credit than he wants to take
Mhm.
for really helping me start this new chapter of my career. Uh, Really, the work we did back in 2016 when we made my first EP, and he's a trusted friend, and now our families are friends, and I'm really fortunate, man, to have him in my life.
Sure.
Awesome.
Now, Damon, for people that are not aware, they should be aware of Memoirs of an Uprising, because that album is just straight out awesome. I mean, it is.
Wow, thank you, brother. Thank you.
I really love it, and no bullshit. I play Shivering Shivering. That's one of my like workout songs. It's in my mix, and it's one of those tunes that gets you fired up. And what I liked about it most was that it wasn't a reprisal of what you had done in anything else. It doesn't sound like Black Star Riders. It's obviously not Thin Lizzy-ish. It's not Brother Kane-ish. It's something that you had to reach. I'm assuming you had to reach deeper into yourself to find. Was it difficult to go out and do kind of reinvent yourself or another version of yourself to share with the public?
Wow, man, thank you for your kind words, and I love that question as well. I definitely didn't have to reinvent myself musically. I'm really happy to tell you that writing songs and coming up with ideas is it's a lot of fun for me, man. It's a process. It's kind of something I try to do every day to some degree, almost like a day job.
Okay.
It's I've gotten so much more disciplined at coming down here into my little office and staying here, not get distracted, not get on the computer or the phone, and just hammer it out, man. So, but it is a challenge, I guess reinvent isn't the word, but just refamiliarize the listener with who I am now that I am a solo artist. I've definitely played with some big bands, and even Brother Kane had a reasonable amount of success, but the name Damon Johnson is certainly not a household name by any stretch. So, to tell you the truth, man, that's why I'm so proud of Memoirs of an Uprising. I don't think I could have made a record that I enjoy more myself
Right.
as the launch pad for me to be a full-time solo artist. And look, man, it was strong enough to attract the band that I have. I mean, Jerry Pope is my drummer, Robbie Harrington on bass. Those guys are world class, world class. And it's been fun too to kind of run my little independent business. It's fun making the decisions, calling the shots. I've been in bands my whole life, guys, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you know as much as anybody, man. Bands can be thrilling at times to make decisions with about various sundry things, music, tour schedules, money, the calendar, whatever. So I'm kind of liking being the boss,
Right.
Sure.
I feel like I'm Tom Petty. We're in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers now.
Nice. Well, and that's an interesting thing, because there is that side of it of being a solo artist, and for you it's got to be really interesting because you've seen both sides. Now you're the boss. Now you're telling everybody this is how it has to be. This is the business side of it, or at least you're introducing the ideas. where obviously in Alice Cooper or with John Wade or Thin Lizzy or whatever, those guys were the names. And if it was bad, it was their fault. And you were just, you kind of lay back and say, okay, I'm the guitar player, blah, 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 blah. For you, is it comfortable, or do you wish some days that you could just pawn it off on somebody else and say, okay, they're in charge?
No, it's super comfortable, brother. And you just said something that made me realize that, obviously I was very fortunate to play with all these great artists, John Wade, Alice Cooper, Thin Lizzy. And I guess in a way it was the endorsement from these artists that I've loved for decades, man. I mean, I was a John Waite fan when I was in high school. Same with Alice and of course Thin Lizzy. So, to get their, I guess, sort of enthusiasm, I mean, I literally remember John Waite saying to me, like, why are you playing with me, man? You're a good writer, you sing, you got your own thing. Now, at that point, I was ready to hand it over to somebody else, because that was right after Brother Kane had ended. And, by the time we left Virgin Records, man, we were over it. We were fried. We'd been on the road forever. It had been such an uphill battle from a business standpoint with the record company. And man, I just didn't want any part of it. So it was nice to join someone else's band, let them call the shots and make the decision. Somebody hands me a perfectly tuned guitar. I get to wear my cool leather pants and rock out, hand it back, go get on the bus, and, let somebody else make the decisions. Guys, I enjoyed that so much that I did it for almost 20 years. Right. So, I'm talking about after Brother Kane. So, right. But I've always had, I'm always writing songs, and I don't know, I was just ready. I had a lot to say. I had a lot of great ideas. I had some good people around me. My collaborator, Jim Troglin, we've been friends since the early 90s, man. We grew up in Birmingham together, came up through the scene there. And we just have a great kind of rhythm about how we work. And, he's a friend. And to that point, when I left Black Star Riders in early 2018, that's what I said. It's kind of mantra. I said, look, I want to work for myself and work with my friends. And that's how I want it to be, guys. The rest of my days on this planet is to just do that. And listen, if Paul McCartney calls, I'm taking that phone call. I'll play. We'll talk about that now. Yeah. But other than that, I can't really think. If the Police got back together and they needed a guitar player, we'll talk about that too. Yeah. but otherwise, I feel like I'm living my best life right now, guys. I'm very, very grateful, and my family's amazing. They've been so supportive of me, pursuing this path. So it's pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah, man, that's great. I mean, and speaking of independence, like you said, I mean, you're doing the new album through the Indiegogo, right? You're doing the crowdfunding, and you're offering some really cool incentives. I saw in there too. You got like autographed guitars, rounds of golf, and one that stuck out to me was a private house concert, which you would think today is a real hot commodity because there's no live music. But I mean, in terms of crowdfunding and using platforms like Indiegogo to fund projects, I mean, do you prefer to do it that way independently compared to being on a label where you obviously don't have as much control of your music? And do you think it's sustainable long term to do it that way, or do you think eventually everyone needs to have a label to really take it to that next level?
I think that it's really down to how you want to run your business as an artist. There is no question that I need help. I want to have a team. But I just know I've been very attentive to the changes in the music business over the years, especially over the last 10 years. And having a record label is great, man, because, they will basically front you the money to make your record, and then they'll help you promote it.
Sure.
The problem with rock music now, guys, is there's really very limited ways to market it. So if that was what was cool about Black Star Riders being signed to Nuclear Blast. I love that label and the guys that are in charge of it. But essentially, all they're doing is writing us a check. We make the record, deliver the record, and then they're going to promote the record through their publicist and then through their mailing list of fans that follow Nuclear Blast Records.
Right.
And you make a few new fans along the way, and then it's up to the band to get out on the road and play shows and try and grow it. The bulk of the support for Black Star Riders, not surprisingly, was the same place where Thin Lizzy had the most fans, was in the UK and in Europe. And that was another thing for me, guys. I just felt like I was living in the UK, and I love it over there, man. I love that country. I love those people. I love those fans. But my family doesn't live there.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just way more. You can't jump on a plane and fly home for a couple of days off and then come right back. It's just not. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so as I was starting to think about doing my own thing, I was ready to embrace the idea of being a fully independent artist. I put these records out on my own imprint, Double Dragon Records. I have a great publicity team that I hire. I just bring them on board. I got a great radio person working my song here in North America at radio. And, we're just getting it done. So essentially what that pre-order thing is, guys, it just gets some revenue streaming into my business so that I can hire a proper producer, hire the right publicity, hire the right radio promotion, and go out and get it done. The big roll of the dice. I actually have a pair of dice over here on my table. The big roll of the dice is the coronavirus has upended everything.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I can't go on the road and promote this record. The record will be finished by the end of the year. Will we be able to go on tour then finally? There's no way of knowing, man.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it doesn't look very hopeful that we can get back onto the road. Maybe in the spring, maybe in the summer of next year. I don't know. So it's a leap of faith in some ways, but again, I'm grateful to my fans for supporting that pre-order campaign. And I can almost see myself, guys, always offering at least the ability to pre-order the music in advance, because that's special for the fans. I have bands that I follow that I pre-order. I pre-order Clutch records. I pre-order Jason Isbell records. That's just how it is. And I learned a lot from those two artists in particular, man. They're fully independent.
Right.
They call the shots. They make their own decisions. And I just think it's the way to roll, certainly for me, with my experience and my resume and everything I've been through. I'm having a lot of fun taking that path.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just want to, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take you back to your really early in your career here, 1988, when you got your first taste, speaking of the music business, of how it worked when you were in the band Witness. Where you were essentially, you essentially got boxed out of your own band by the San Francisco rock royalty, the members of Journey and Night Ranger, and you never got to appear on that record, right? On the Arista release back in.
Well, here's how that.
Yeah, how did that all go down? Yeah.
Here's how that worked, brother.
Okay.
I only became a member of Witness after the record was finished.
Okay.
Okay.
Witness was an existing band out of Atlanta, and Debbie Davis was the singer, amazing singer, great girl, really sweet. And so she and her husband, they were able to get a record deal for the band. They went in to make the record, and the label decided that, a couple of the members of the band weren't really up to the ability to record the songs in the studio and make it great. So once the record was finished, and like you said, Neil Sean played a ton of guitar, Brad Gillis was on there. After the record was ready, Clive Davis signed them to Arista Records, So then they had to go out on tour, so they had to put a band together. And through a mutual friend, they found out about me, came to see me play in Birmingham, and offered me the spot. And listen, guys, I was 22 years old. All I heard was the words record deal. And I'm like, I'm in. Sign me up. I'm in. Because, of course, all you got to do is get a record deal, and you're on your way to fame and fortune, and everything's going to be great. So I joined Witness, and it was a lot of fun. Obviously, I learned a lot. And, you know, the interesting thing and the unfortunate thing for Witness is that, you know, the label put out that first single and they didn't get much traction on it. You know, very little happened. I remember we were so thrilled. They played the video one night on Headbangers Ball, and, you know, it was like we had won the lottery. We were so excited, man. But after that first couple of weeks of promo, there were a handful of stations maybe put it in light rotation, but they just couldn't get any momentum going, man. And very quickly, Eros Records lost interest in Witness. And so I was effectively kind of a sideman already, and you know, started thinking about my next endeavors. But guys, the last thing I'll say about Witness, it was so pivotal, man. That experience really helped my thinking about the business, and that ultimately led me down the path of me starting Brother Kane. Because I was like, hey, if these guys can get a record deal, I'm gonna put a band together with my friends in Birmingham and see if we can do that. And that's what happened.
And you did, yeah. It's great.
And dude, you have one of the oddest careers ever, because then the same sort of thing happened again to you again with Damn Yankees, didn't it? Where you put something together and then it didn't come out, right?
Yeah, but that was a trip, man. That whole situation was a trip. Yeah, that story's pretty wild because, again, that was right after Brother Kane had ended.
Right.
I was very kind of indifferent about the music business. I had put a bar band together with a couple friends in Alabama. I had a new girlfriend that became my fiance that is now my wife. And, you know, my life was just kind of going down a different path. And out of the blue, I get this phone call from John Kolodner, who was the A&R man for the Damn Yankees. And, of course, John's a legend in his own right, man, all the things he's done. So it was a real unique set of circumstances that brought me in. Tommy Shaw had to commit to Styx. I think they had just parted ways with Dennis DeYoung.
Right.
So, you know, he needed to really focus at that moment to kind of rebranding their band. So he gave the band his blessing for them to, you know, look around for somebody else. And through a fascinating chain of events, I got the call. I'd never met Jack Blaze. I knew Ted because Brother Kane had over for Ted. Ted had always been super supportive of my career, my guitar playing. He loved our songs and just always treated me with a lot of respect. And so I felt comfortable, you know, flying out there to Northern California, and, you know, we're all in a room together. There was Jack and Michael Carloni on drums, and Ted and me, and we wrote a batch of songs. There were a couple that they had in the can that they'd written with Tommy. We went in and made the record. It sounded okay, but honestly, guys, when we got to finish, you know, got the final mixes, I think we were all very underwhelmed. I think we realized clearly there just wasn't that one song to kind of anchor a whole tour behind, and everybody putting their other careers on hold while they do a Damn Yankees tour.
Right. Oh, it makes sense. Well, we didn't want to take this all into the past, because certainly you have present stuff. You obviously have tomorrow, the tribute to Thin Lizzy, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time, I believe. Tell everybody what they can expect from this tribute to Thin Lizzy tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow night, you were correct, 7 p.m. Central. We are going to do a live stream from Nashville, Tennessee. Damon Johnson and the Get Ready, very, very special guest, Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest on guitar, joining us. We're going to perform for the first time our new single, Battle Lessons, and we're going to do an extensive set list tribute to our beloved Thin Lizzy. And it's extra cool for me, guys, because I'll not only be playing these songs that I've already played, some of them I've played a lot, but I'll be singing these songs. So it's extra fun for me. It's going to be incredible for the listeners. This is a real performance. We're going to be on the big stage at SIR rehearsal facility here in Nashville. We got the Marshall amps. We got the extra lights. It's going to be cool. We had a rehearsal this past Saturday. Oh my God, Richie Faulkner, playing those Thin Lizzy songs with me. It just, it's insane. It sounds insane. It just sounds amazing. And, we're grateful to him. I'm grateful to my band. It's just exciting, and listen, the reaction has been fantastic. Eddie Trunk had Richie and I on his show earlier today.
Great.
Getting to do interviews with you guys. I've been running my mouth for the last 4 days. My wife is sick of me walking through the house talking about myself. So, and I want to tell you guys, we mention the ticket link? Have I told you that yet?
I was going to ask you where people go to watch it and get their tickets and everything.
Yeah, man, it's important to tell people that this platform that we love is called Veeps. V as in Victor, EEPS. And my band and I have done a few dates with Veeps already, a couple of live streams. And the cool thing about them is they give the ticket holder the flexibility of having 48 hours to watch the show.
Okay.
So if you can't catch it at 7 p.m. our time tomorrow night, it's no problem. You can watch it later tomorrow night. You can watch it Saturday morning. You'll have 48 hours to watch it and watch it repeatedly if you want to.
Very cool, man.
Cool. Awesome.
Well,
yeah, man.
We're definitely interested to see it. I'll tell you what, man. Talking to you as always, you're way too excited to be a 40-year veteran of this, man. You're still too hyped for this, man.
40. Hang on, bro. That's a big number now. That's more like 30. Witness was 88. I've been in the bars a couple years before that, but
which would make you 35.
Yeah, I have definitely clicked into the fourth decade of being a professional musician. But lest I forget, guys, the ticket link is very simple. You just go to damonjohnson.veeps.com.
Okay.
Awesome.
Again, Veeps is VEEPS. Takes you right to the ticket link. There's a general admission ticket. There's some bundles. You can get a copy of the CD, the new CD or the new vinyl, which we'll have, later in the year. But we'll keep up with everybody's information and get that right to them as soon as possible.
Excellent. I'll put the link in the description on the podcast and on the video, like here in an hour when I flip it over and put it out there. So
awesome, fellas. That's awesome, man.
Well, Damon, it is always great to talk to you, man. As I told you, at the start of this, I'm a big fan. I can't wait for Battle Lessons. The two songs that I've heard are great. It picks up right where you left off with Memoirs, and starting with tomorrow, it looks like there's a lot of good music coming from Damon Johnson once again.
Yeah,
brother, guys, I can't thank you both enough, man. I appreciate you having me. Thanks for all the kind words. I'm glad, by the way, you've heard both of the new songs because they're both just barn burners. My manager and I were about to have a fist fight over which one to release, and he won. he won. He picked Battle Lessons. I wanted to go Can't Clap Any Louder, but what a great problem to have, man. They're both great songs, and there's more of that tempo and more of those big guitars coming on the rest of the record. It's I can't wait for you guys to hear the whole thing.
Very cool, man.
Either,
Damon, thanks once again for coming on, man, and you're always welcome here on Aftershocks.
Say hello to all your folks, guys. Continued success to you, and once this gets up and posted, I'm going to spread the word, and you guys stay healthy, and I hope I see you face to face really soon.
Absolutely. All right. Same here, Damon. Thanks so much, buddy.
Take care, brother.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.